Hi everyone, Monique here, Intuitive Soul Savant. Now today's video is a timeless video, meaning you can watch it at any time, any year, any decade. And today's video is all about Capricorn. Now we've all got all the textbooks out there, all over the internet. There's lots of theory, keywords regarding Capricorn. So when we're learning astrology, what we are aiming for is to understand and integrate into our lives and our consciousness the understanding, the integration of the energy of Capricorn. So that is my intention today, not to just throw a whole lot of theory at you about what a Capricorn is and how to recognize a Capricorn. I'd really, my passion is for astrology students to really integrate the energy, to be able to call on that energy from an intuitive feeling perspective. And that comes with studying astrology. However, now that the consciousness on planet has expanded, astrology is evolving, and it will evolve even more as Pluto ingresses into Aquarius, the ruler of astrology. So it's all very, very exciting, and there's so many people on the planet that are studying astrology these days. Okay, so it's new moon in Capricorn, it's Capricorn birthday month. Happy birthday to all of the Capricorns out there. And I'm a Capricorn, so I'm going to do my best to express the energy of the Capricorn archetype. Now, to first understand the Capricorn archetype, we need to understand the ruling planet Saturn. Now, when we think about Capricorn, Capricornness is points in the night sky that the ancient astrologers put together to ascertain some sort of understanding of the heavens. So Capricornus is a constellations in the sky. Okay, so the energy is really the Saturn energy. That's a physical object that we can see through our eyes, and sometimes of the year just with the telescope. So these are practical physical manifestations, Saturn. So to understand Capricorn, we need to understand the energies of Saturn. Now, Pluto has just been in Capricorn for over 15 years now, since 2008. And the Capricorn energies have evolved because of the Pluto transiting through Capricorn, the transformation of the Capricorn energy through the Capricorns and their ego and their natal sun. And all of us who have Capricorn, we all have Capricorn energy within and around us. So let's look at Capricorn. It's the 10th sign of the astrological zodiac wheel, and it sits right up the top, north. Okay, that's the 10th house, and Capricorn energy rules that house. Now, in your chart, you won't have Capricorn there unless you have an Aries ascendant. There's all the different signs in everybody's different charts make us all unique. And the Saturn energy of the 10th house, the Capricorn Saturn energy, will reflect through the sign that you have on the 10th house cusp of your chart. So the 10th sign, Capricorn is an earth sign. It's the third earth sign. First is Taurus, then Virgo, and then Capricorn. So by the time we get to the Capricorn, Capricorn has already worked through Taurus and the energies of Taurus, already worked through Virgo and the energies of Virgo, and now the last earth sign, mastery, is what Capricorn rules. The Capricorn sign in the 10th house is opposite the Cancer sign. That's the polarity. Capricorn, Cancer. Now, the ancients called the Capricorn, well, called Saturn, the father time. So it's the father figure in the zodiac chart, Saturn. Polarity, Cancer, ruled by the moon, the mother. So here we have the archetype, the father and the mother, the Capricorn and the Cancer, the Saturn and the moon. Now, both of these energies carry the same energy within, but they're reflected as a polar opposite. So both energies are the family, but they're reflected separately as polar opposites. The male father, the mother, the feminine mother. The provider, the father, the nurturer, the mother. I mean, these are very ancient archetypes from ancient astrology. This is why astrology, as we evolve, the collective, the astrology evolves. Okay, now Capricorn is a cardinal sign. It's the earth cardinal sign, and the cardinal is the leader, the manifester, the initiator. And there's 4 cardinal signs, each a different, you've got earth, water, fire and air, each a different element, but 4 cardinal signs. So you have a polar opposite, the Cancer, as a cardinal sign. You have Capricorn's square as a cardinal sign to Aries. Capricorn squares Libra, the air cardinal sign. Sorry, Aries is the fire cardinal sign. Okay, so I hope I haven't confused you there. All right. Now, Capricorn rules in numerology the number 8, as does Saturn. So the number 8, I've made a video on the number 8. So just go into the playlists there and you can learn to integrate the energies of the number 8. Okay. Now, the colors of the Capricorn Saturn energy is black, dark colors. Gloomy colors was once thought, but we now know that in black lays all the colors. So earthy tones, you could say, to understand the colors, earthy tones. Capricorn's earth sign. See, once we look at all of these different areas that carry this architectural energy, we get to understand it a lot better. If we can pull it all together, and that is consolidation, a Capricorn word, consolidating all the pieces together. That's what we're doing here, to understand the Capricorn energy. Now, you may not be a Capricorn. However, there will be Capricorns in your life. You will come across Capricorns, especially studying astrology. Once you're able to master integrating these energies, you can pick a Capricorn just by looking, feeling, the sixth sense of the intuition. And that's the beautiful thing that astrology gives us, is intuition. Okay. So Saturday is the day that rules Saturn. Saturday. Okay, the energy of that Saturday. You've got to go back to the Roman mythology, the Latin, to understand the days a little bit better and how they were named. So Capricorn, Saturn rules the first chakra, the earth chakra, the chakra that we go right down into the core of the earth with when our Kundalini is activated. Okay, from the 7th chakra all the way down to the first chakra and through into the earth, to be grounded, to be solid, to be stable, to be just like a mountain, immovable. Now, the animal for Capricorn is a goat. And it's very good to understand the nature of the goat, because the nature of the goat helps to understand the nature of the Capricorn. Okay. And the first chakra is also mental and physical well-being, balanced, stable, Now, Saturn, the planet, rules Capricorn. And Saturn is our ringed planet. And it's the 6th planet from the sun. Now, with ancient astrology, before we were able to observe Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, Saturn was as far as our consciousness knew. That was the boundary to the rest of the solar system and beyond. Now, in the last couple of 100 years, we've been able, with our physical eye through telescope, been able to see Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Our consciousness has expanded by integrating those outer energies. It's the 2nd largest planet, Saturn, in our solar system, Jupiter being the 1st. And Jupiter and Saturn together are given the name the relationship planets, because Jupiter is very expansive, and then we get to Saturn, restrictive. Saturn couldn't see any further than where they were at that time. Now we have the galactic experience of Uranus. We have the illusionary spiritual energy of Neptune, and we have the transformational energy of Pluto, death, reincarnation. Back in the day, Capricorn, Saturn couldn't envision reincarnation because we couldn't see that far to integrate that energy. The boundary was the boundary. One life, that's it. That was what the belief systems were. So Saturn is made up of water and ice particles in those rings. The rings of Saturn are made up of tiny, tiny particles of ice, water, ice, and some trace of rock particles. Now, the density on Saturn is 1/8 the average density of Earth. It's an 1/8 of the density on Earth. And I want you to think about that. What's density? Plasma, physical, materialistic reality. But it's an 1/8 on Saturn as to what we have here, the density that we have here on Earth. So just think about that. Saturn's 95 times more massive than Earth. So that's a big planet. And that is why we are energetically affected. We are in this solar system, and we are a family in this solar system. And we are able to, we are all of those energies. We have all of that within us. We know that now. We are made up of the solar system. So by understanding Saturn, we can understand the draw, the magnetic pull that Capricorns hold within themselves around the theory of what we already know about Capricorn and Saturn. So the dense core of Saturn is metals. So iron, and there's nickel, and also some rocky and other compounds in the core. But it's very highly pressurized with a lot of heat, and that's what keeps all of that particles together. So it's very pressurized. So I want you to think about that as well. So the god, so Saturn was known as a god in Roman religion, and Saturn was known as a character in Roman mythology. Now, the god Saturn ruled time, linear time, linear time. That was the furthest we could see. That's as far as it was going to go, as far as time went. The god Saturn ruled generation, keyword generation, the family, very family orientated. So by understanding this, you can see why Capricorns are the way they are. And I'm going to look at some low frequency keywords of Capricorn. The negatives, you would say, but they're not the negatives. They're just the lower frequencies of the energy of Saturn. So generations are ruled by the energy of Saturn. The disillusion, being able to just dissolve what's no longer needed. The keywords, the old keywords for Capricorn were I use. And when you first study astrology, and when you're young, I use, oh, and it could be taken personally as an insult, but it's not. What the I use means is the practicalness of being able to see something that maybe somebody else has thrown away and seeing the usefulness of something. So Capricorns can look at a situation and see the value when others may have already walked away and said nothing to see here, no value here. So that's what the I use means. I can use whatever's around me to make the best of a situation. Excuse me. So that's what that I use is. So the disillusion, the abundance as a god. This is what the Romans believe look to the god Saturn for. Abundance, wealth. It was the agricultural god, because back then, of course, we had to grow our food to eat like we do today, but no supermarkets. Okay, so everybody had to be self-sufficient. So agriculture. Also the god of liberation, but that comes after a periodic renewal, right? Periodic renewal. So that's the limitation of Saturn, taking back the restriction of Saturn, not allowing. And then in that there is a renewal and then a liberation. So the restriction comes before the liberation. And ask any Capricorn, that restriction that they feel is like a magnetic pull. They're not restricted, right? Capricorns, we are not restricted. However, there is an energy within from Saturn that we put a self-imposed restriction upon ourselves. Even though out there, nobody is holding us back and nobody is stopping us. You know, it is the death. It is tarot card number 15 with the Grim Reaper and the man and the woman, and they're in chains, but the chains aren't together. They could escape those chains. However, they felt restricted. They felt in bondage. And so Capricorns, as they age, become freer, more childlike. Capricorns are born like little old men and little old women. They're very serious. You look, they're beautiful to hang out with, Capricorn children, because they can carry a conversation with you, and they can also make you accountable. And they're very serious. They're very responsible. They're very mature. They want to help. However, if this is taken for granted and used by the caregivers as slave labor or what have you, you know, that doesn't really benefit the Capricorn child. Even though they want that responsibility, it is good to encourage a Capricorn child to be a little freer, to go outside, to get dirty, to play with the other kids, not have to sit with the adults, because that's where young Capricorns feel comfortable with older people. Teenage Capricorns may hang out with 20-year-olds. 20-year-old Capricorns may hang out with 30-year-olds. There's a maturity there that Capricorns are born with. Time, old man Saturn, the furthest planet, the oldest energy out there that we could see before we discovered other planets and other energies. So that responsibility is inbuilt. Capricorns may not even want that responsibility. However, it's there. And I'll tell you something interesting. That responsibility is projected energetically out to others, so that others will actually stand there and wait for the Capricorn to take responsibility. Even though nothing's been said, no orders have been made, the energy of others, the energy of others is there waiting. Sorry, I just had a mind block. Waiting for the Capricorn to step up and take responsibility. And this leads us into the boundaries, the rings of Saturn, because Capricorn rules boundaries. The boundaries, the rings of Saturn, the furthest we can see into through the solar system. So one of the lessons that Capricorns are here to learn is boundaries. To make boundaries, especially with responsibilities, because there's only so much we can be responsible for. And to be over-responsible is a dysfunction of responsibility, that we need to find that balance there. Okay. So the Saturn god was depicted with a sickle and a scythe and a veil. A sickle, a scythe, and a veil. Now, the sickle is that Grim Reaper symbol. And when you think about it, yes, the sickle was used for agriculture, for cutting back, for thinning out, for trimming. It was an agricultural tool. But when I think about that, and I think about Capricorns and how that integrates with the Capricorn energy, is Capricorns don't suffer fools lightly. They're not interested in superficiality. They're very practical. So when we get into a few more keywords, that sickle is, you know, they say Capricorns, you can count on a hand how many friends they have, because they very much like value and honesty and loyalty in their friendships. So it's the sickle of cutting back, putting boundaries there, not for a self-protection, but for a wisdom through mastery of knowing what they can and cannot be responsible for, how much energy they can give and how much they can't. Because Capricorns, when they are in social situations, and I have a Leo rising, and I have a Leo rising, but this, I still need to take time out on my own regularly, and sometimes for days, especially if I've been hanging out with people. I need to Capricorns need to recharge. They need to have a periodic renewal, which is what the god Saturn was looked upon for, periodic renewal. And then we're able to get back out there into the game to get on with what we're here to get on with. So the other symbol is the veil. Okay, now the veil is like a hooded, like a hoodie, okay, but in a piece of material, a veil, okay. So the veil symbolizes a pre-enlightened state. So Saturn was the veil, because beyond Saturn, we didn't know what else was out there. Saturn was the veil to Uranus's galactic energy, to Neptune's spiritual energy, and to the life and death reincarnation of Pluto. It stopped with Saturn. So a pre-enlightened state, pre-mastery state. The veil, it's hidden. There's ignorance. We have ignorance of what else is out there. The veil can be protection rather than deception. And this is why Capricorns are cautious and take it slowly. These are all energies that have evolved from symbols and us as the collective humans evolving through all the ages. And the veil, lastly, was the boundary between earth and heaven. It was the boundary. We couldn't see further than that. We couldn't see into the galactic family or the spirituality or coming back here. And now we know that as quantum physics. There is no linear time. So Saturn needs to evolve. Capricorns need to evolve. You know, the energies are just so much more evolved on planet now. You know, the old Capricorn archetype was, I'll believe it when I see it. I believe it when I see it. There's that boundary. If I can't see it, it's not there. But Neptune would tell us something completely different. Our minds are open. Our consciousness is opened. Okay, so the boundaries between earth and heaven. Now I'm going to get on to the keywords. And with these keywords, when you move forward now, learning, talking about astrology, teaching, what have you, remember these negative, lower vibrational keywords. There's reasons for this. It's not like, oh, Capricorn is limiting and they're restrictive and they put restriction around us, and they're callous and stern, and they can be very cool and cynical and pessimistic and and on. And this can be true. However, if we look deeply into the archetype with compassion for the Capricorns on their Capricorn journey to self-mastery, disciplined, restrictive. No, I can't come out to play today. I need to study. Why do you need to study? I don't know. There's this energy on my shoulder that won't let me rest if I don't. And hence why it's been such a struggle for me to do these videos. I have to do these videos because that Capricorn energy, it won't let me go. It won't let me off the hook. And Capricorns, whatever area of life, whatever a career, whatever it is, it's a pull. It's a magnetic pull, even push, you could say, to keep going up the mountain. Capricorns find they take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Think of the goat. Up, slips back down on some crumbly rocks, jumping from crevice to another rock. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And with that is caution. And the caution that Capricorn takes is through wisdom. It's very karmic, the Capricorn energy. When you know, there's young Capricorns, they find that they can't get away with anything. They do something wrong, they get busted. Karma. There's karma to be worked through for young Capricorns. The older Capricorns get, the freer they get. But the first part of the journey, and it's not till the first Saturn return or 40s, it can be 50s. Capricorns are late bloomers. In ancient times, it was the furthest planet. They are achievers, getting up to the top of that mountain. You've got to be ambitious to get up to the top of the mountain. You know, with the number 8, they're affiliated with business. They make great CEOs because they have integrity. Now, in saying that, we've just had Pluto, nearly finished, through Capricorn, and we have seen CEOs and leaders, because it is a leadership sign, cardinal sign, that have not had good integrity. They're not Capricorns. They're not Capricorns. Capricorn rules integrity, therefore it rules the CEOs and the leaders. It's the 10th house that needs to have integrity. And that's a natural born energy. And of course, we're young, we might steal a packet of lollies or go through a stage of rebellion and crazy, but grounded and in its pure form, it's integrity. Capricorn has integrity. Get them to look after what you need done with honesty, loyalty, and integrity. The authoritarian, 10th house, the father. the old energy of the authoritarian, the father, the big daddy. He's the boss. And he's got to look after his family, the big daddy. So he has a career. So he's career orientated. He needs to be consistent. You know, Capricorn picks up that energy from Virgo, that consistency, that organization, that practicality. Capricorn's very conservative. I'm not going to be wasteful. I don't mean me, I mean the Capricorns. I'm not going to be wasteful. I use everything. I conserve everything. I'm quite conventional, says the Capricorn. I'm disciplined. I'm determined to get to the top of that mountain. Because I'm meant to. The Capricorn is the ruler of the 10th house. And that's the sun in Capricorn. But any planet that you have in Capricorn, whatever house Capricorn rules, think deeply about the energies of that house and how the driver behind it is that Capricorn energy. The driver behind that, Saturn. You go to your Saturn in your chart. Everyone has Saturn somewhere in their chart. And that Saturnine energy changes. I have Saturn in Pisces. I'm having my second return of Saturn now. Well, Saturn is materialistic, the material, the practical, boundaries, what starts and finishes. Pisces is boundaryless. However, the Saturn manifests in Pisces. This, like bringing videos like this, Uranian energy, astrology, spiritual energy, Neptune, Pisces. And so Saturn requires me to bring this to you in a practical form, video, or teaching it, what have you. Very orderly, organized, patience. Capricorn rules patience, not because they're so patient. We have to understand the signs that we're born into. We're here to learn that energy. It doesn't make us perfect at those energies. Not every Leo is on stage. Not every Leo is you know, in the center of the crowd. But every Leo is here to learn, to show themselves. You see what I mean? So Capricorns are here to learn patience. And that they do, because slowly it takes Saturn 29.5 years to go around in its orbit. Jupiter 12 years. Quick with Jupiter. Saturn very slowly. And it is regarded as a personal planet, a relationships planet. So Capricorn will learn patience because it takes so long for things to manifest, for the mastery to take place. It takes a long time to master the self. You don't do it in your 20s. I didn't do it in my 30s. And I'm only just now understanding what that even means. Okay. So I've given you a lot. Workaholism, I mean, you know, that all comes with that energy. If you've got a workaholic father, or mother or brother or sister or what have you, it's that ambitiousness. There's a drive there. However, it doesn't let all Capricorns off the hook for imbalance of any of this that I've discussed today. This all needs to be balanced and working together with other aspects of our chart and our life. Okay, Saturn's had a bad rap. Yes. But, you know, when you're a Capricorn, it's not easy. Ask Capricorns. Oh, do you have a free-flowing, easy life, able to drop everything and run off with the crowd? No, that restriction is there. But they're loyal. They're very loyal people, okay? And they come across as cool, yes, because all that's going on. They're responsible. They've got a lot to think about. Everybody's looking at them. They can, you know, I have Saturn square the moon. So I was emotionally disassociated for 50 years. And that's why Capricorns can come across as cool. It's an emotional dissociation. Their polar opposite is Cancer, the emotional body. But they run very, very deep, Capricorns. And they can be very, very funny because they have a dry sense of humor and they can laugh at themselves. Because as they get older, well, they can look back on their life and why did I take life so seriously? But it's a karmic energy, because after Capricorn, we move into Aquarius, our galactic selves. All right. Very traditional, Capricorns. All the keywords. Every time now you hear a keyword about Capricorn and Saturn, think of the energy of it. It's all part of us as individuals. We need those energies. We are those energies. And by understanding and integrating those energies, we return to our wholeness, which we always were. All right. Thank you if you're still here. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe. Happy 2024 into the new year. At the beginning, every new year is always about Capricorn, which is interesting. Capricorn rules the winter, right? The winter life. Interestingly, I'm in the southern hemisphere and it's summer here. In the northern hemisphere, it's winter when it's Capricorn time. But I'll tell you, it's hot and summery and I don't go out. I sunbathe halfway through winter. That's when I love laying around in the sun. But through the summertime here in the southern hemisphere, I'm not attracted to go out into that hot heat. And that's living in the southern hemisphere. So I'm still following that energy of the winter life, you know. Yeah. So thank you. Namaste. Thanks for hanging around. It's great to do this, and I really hope you know, I've helped somebody out there to understand a little better. There we go. Okay. Happy birthday, Capricorns.